Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the second video. We're gonna be going over the 7 secrets of bachata, part of our secret 7x7 bachata method. This is gonna help you a lot in your bachata life. We're gonna dive right in. Anything you wanna say, Nicole, before we start?
Yes, so this helps mostly with when you are trying to kind of improv, freestyle, or social dance, whatever name you want to use for that, is when you're just kind of coming up with moves on the fly and you're dancing with your partner. No practiced routine, just like going through moves. So if you're at the level where you're ready to kind of try to freestyle, but you're forgetting stuff or you feel like it's not an enjoyable dance, that's when these secrets come into play. Yeah.
So this video is going to be for leaders and followers. We're going to be giving different examples just so if you're a guy or a girl watching, it's going to help you kind of know what's coming, or if you're a guy, what you're actually doing to lead some of this stuff or implement these secrets.
Yeah, and they're in no particular order of importance. There's just 7.
Yeah.
And we'll
if some go like this, it's okay. If some like hit a home run, just stick onto those for now and then come
in
back
a few
to the
months,
video.
watch it again, and more will sink in.
So secret number 1 is 3-level turns. So 3-level turns, what that's gonna do for you, or why you should know this, is gonna kind of create a balance of moves that you're doing with a partner. So you're not kind of doing the same things over and over. It's gonna give it a little bit more dimension. Like it's not just we're gonna be turning the girls, and like they're getting dizzy, or like it's gonna appear like the guys are showing off. So you'll see what we mean. Let's actually dive into it. So 3-level turns is this. First level is over the head. Second level is neck level turns. The third level is things that go at the waist level. So if you saw the previous video, we talked about single turns, two-handed turns, hammerlock turns. A lot of these turns are going to be going at different levels. The most common is the turn that goes over the head. Yeah. And then sometimes as dancers, we start running out of moves because we think like, oh shoot, I already did that turn. I'm just going to do this turn.
We just think of what's common, overhead, overhead,
and now I can do this one, and it feels like I'm doing the same thing. Is she getting bored? Like all of this stuff is going on in her head, and we're thinking a little bit too much, but we have every right to do so because we don't want to bore our partner, you know? So what we came up with is this 3-level turn. Like we have over the head, neck level, waist. So if you're ever at the point where you're dancing, you're like, what should I do next? You want to think, okay, let's do something over the head. Now I can do something neck level. Yeah, I can do something where I get out of her way. Now I'm going to do something where I go waist level. Then I change it up. I can go back to the head. Yeah, I can do like a free spin waist level. Yeah, I can do a cross-body lead, and I can do something neck level again. This is going to kind of create like a different
dimension
feel. Like it gives your dance a little bit more dimension versus everything over the head, over the head, over the head, over the head. Yeah, because you're playing with different scenarios now.
Yeah, and it also turns takes, I guess turns is a bad word. It takes a simple turn and gives you more options. So let me give you an example. You can do a right turn over the head. You can do a right turn at neck level.
Like there's some moves which you're gonna have to play with to get into something else.
Yeah, but
like when you're practicing these moves, you have to test some of it out first. Because if I'm here, like I can hold the hand the whole time. But if I'm here, like my hand's gonna get stuck, or she's gonna let go. Like technically, I can stay here and do like a neck level thing like this. But you're gonna find some of the stuff feels a little bit funny. So you can start playing it off. I'm like, okay, I'll do this, and then I'll go to the shoulder, and then I can do something else. And you're gonna start coming up with new moves that you don't even know how to do. Like, it's just cool what's gonna come out of this.
Right, but it's still a right turn for the ladies, and then it can lead you into other stuff, or it can feel really different, and then you can do one at the waist level. The same thing goes in the left. Not all things you can do the left, but you can give it a shot.
Let me do that waist level so I don't ruin your example. So we just did 2 things, and then she said the third one can go at the waist level.
Yeah, so there's dimension. Same thing for the guys. He can do things at different levels, over the head, neck, and waist. And like he said also, that not everything works, but it's a good way to practice and start trying out. And you can take one simple turn, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I've got way more turns than I thought I did, just by changing the level.
Yeah, so hopefully that little tips help. This tip, we can go like 30 minutes on this tip, just on this tip
Yeah.
alone. We do that inside the course, especially in our combination sections. You're going to be seeing things at different levels.
Yeah.
But this is kind of just like we're giving you like awareness of what the possibilities are here, knowing this thing. So if I'm dancing again, I'm doing crossbody lead. I give her a turn. Yeah, I give myself a turn, neck level. And then we do something at the waist, and boom. And don't think you have to go in that order. You can go 2 over the head, 1 waist, something neck, 2
Yeah.
neck, and then back. Change up the order. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
set thing.
Just think of it as you have 3 options and do whatever you want with that as a way to trigger your mind to remember moves or to remember, variations of things. But also, again, just like chat a little bit more on this. This is not something you do just as a beginner. This is something that even when we're coming up with moves to teach in class, we're always keeping in mind that not everything we want to do is above the head, above the head, above the head, or everything at neck level. We're always trying to keep a ratio so it doesn't seem like too predominant in one thing, right? So it helps keep a balance where you're kind of moving up and down and not just like here the whole time. So this is something that we still do. And the more you keep that in your mind, right, the better you're going to get at that concept just being kind of always in the back of your head and you're not even really like aware you're doing it. It's just like it becomes habit. So this is, again, important.
Just one little tip, especially if you're a leader, before we move on to the next secret, play with this, practice with this, and then when you're practicing with it, don't let your brain or your mind like confuse you and say like, okay, let me do a hammerlock turn, but what the heck? That's technically the waist level and over the head. Yeah, when you're doing something like that, like a hammerlock turn, focus on the hand that's up here or focus on the hand that's down here.
Just pick one.
So what do I mean by that? If you're dancing and say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this left hand. Yeah, I know I'm giving her a hammerlock, but I want to see, okay, I just did this and she went over the head. Like, how can I do another hammerlock? And I can focus on this and I'm like, okay, let me do it at the neck level. And that's what I mean. So even if you're doing something with 2 hands, focus on one hand implementing what we're talking about, not the opposite hand. Yeah. So that's just a different style so you don't feel like a little bit overwhelmed or if I'm doing this wrong.
Tweak it in a way that works for you. Yeah. And keep in mind, I just want to say this has nothing to do with the little first secret that we went over. These are secrets. There's a lot of talking and not as much dancing. There's a lot of just watching us and hearing concepts because there's stuff that we actually use and we don't get to discuss in any other class because it's just a lot of talking. So keep in mind that it is talking, and it is still good to do a partner to be able to test these out. So go ahead, you can pause the video now if you have your partner with you and actually just play around with this concept. Play around with doing the 3 levels and see where it takes you. You know what I mean? Like he said, you may turn at the shoulder and then not know where to go. So you're kind of like, okay, let me try this. And play around with the concept before you just watch all of them. Actually try to implement it. If you don't have a partner, okay, maybe not, but if you do, feel free to actually put it into play because we're not going to practice stuff in this video.
Sorry, this is the last thing I'll say. I know we like to talk a lot.
We're chatty.
If you don't have a partner and you're watching this video and say, for example, like you're about to go to the nightclub, like pop in this video and say like, let me work on secret number 1 and then watch secret number 1 and then go practice that when you go dance. Don't try to do all of them at once and then go back to secret number 2 and then go out and dance and try to implement that just so you guys can practice, yeah? But we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you, sorry, not this video, this secret. We're gonna move on to the next.
He's already done
I'm like,
the video,
let's go.
apparently.
Here we go. So we're gonna move on to the next secret. What's up, guys? Here's secret number 2. What secret number 2 does and why it's important. This is gonna kind of create change and variation in your dance. Yeah, just so it looks a little bit different. Kind of helps alongside of number 1.
It helps create balance between the amount of moves you do for yourself, and we'll explain that, and the amount of moves you do for your partner, and the ones you do as like a unit. Yeah?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So basically, it's just going to create, a nice balance where when you're dancing, the guy's not just doing a bunch of stuff while the girl's sitting there doing a basic, and the guy's spinning a bunch, and the girl's bored, right? Or it's not going to create a thing where the guy is making the girl do all the work, turns and spins and all this body movement, and the guy is kind of not doing anything. It's going to create a balance of moves. Yes? So we have a little secret or little rule for that. And you don't have to follow it to a T, just it's a guideline.
Here we go, guys. So let's dive right in and show you an example. So on these moves, we're going to do something where something happens for the guy, something happens for the girl, and then something happens for the both of us, yeah? So, an example, when we're dancing, just like she said, if you actually want to see a visual, I don't want to turn the girl, and then 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 turn the, like, it's going to be too much. They're going to get dizzy.
Stuff, yeah.
Same thing for the guys. I don't want to be like, boom, 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 It's gonna feel like you're just showing off, yeah?
Yeah, and the girl's bored just doing a basic with her arms flying around.
Yeah, so what you wanna do is you wanna change it up so it has a little bit of balance. So I can do something for myself, I can do something for her, and I do something for the both of us, yeah? Like a crossbody mixed with the turn, yeah? So then I do the same thing, and then you can change the order. Instead of me going first, I can do something for her, I can do something for me, I can do something for both of us. Now I can change it up, something for both of us, I can do something for her, and I can do something for me, I can do something for both, yeah? So combining whatever you know in your bachata library of moves, you're gonna be implementing this where you do something for yourself, something for the girl, and then something for both, yeah? Again, there's no like written rule. You can do two for her,
yeah.
Two for you, and then only one thing for both of us. But you want to kind of change it up so you have that layout throughout your whole dance.
Yeah, okay, so let's say you don't have to, like he was saying, you don't have to go like exactly this. Throughout an entire song, you want to make sure that the amount of moves between those three kind of categories, him, me, and both, are somewhat even. So even if maybe a little song, it's really heavily the girls' moves, if it's a little part, it's okay. Or same thing with the guys. A little part, maybe you're accenting something and you really want to do it, totally fine. But then just make sure over the period of the whole song, it's a balanced dance.
So again, we hope that helps. Just remember, one me, one her, one for the both, or the other way. This is going to help if you tie it in with secret number 1, which was the 3-level turns. Once you combine all of these secrets, you're going to be a bachata machine.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to really, or else you'll be thinking about too much at once and you won't remember any moves, but just slowly implement.
So just imagine that was the end of that secret. I'm just going to give you an example of implementing this with 3-level turns now. So imagine I'm here. I can do something for, let's keep it super simple. So I can go basic. I can go over the head, something for her. Yeah. Now I can do level 2 plus something for me. Boom, right here. Now I can do something for the both of us. Now I'm going to do something at waist level. Boom. Yeah, and then finish it whatever way you want. Yeah. So the possibilities of just messing with secret 1 and 2 will keep you busy for a very long time, and we haven't even gone over secret number 3 yet. Yeah, so implementing all of these secrets together, it's what's going to make your dancing like from going flatline to being able to do so much and having different variations within the basic stuff that you know.
Yes, so, but keep in mind that these are supposed to help you come up with new moves, keep things balanced. But you don't want to use them so rigidly and so strict that you actually limit what you can do because you're like, oh, I've already done over the head, I can't do it again. Oh, I've already done one for her, I can't. Don't make it such a black and white that you actually do the opposite of what this is intended to do. Let it make you more creative, not limit you.
Yeah, so the goal is like, when it comes to dance, you don't want to dance mechanical. But when you first learn, it's going to be mechanical. You have to go through that path, if you want to call it that, before you can actually, okay, now I got it, I feel it in my body, and then you can just freestyle it and let it happen naturally. But it's okay if it feels mechanical at first and you have like a system to it, but don't stick to that system for the rest of your life because you're going to be able to tell, you're going to feel like he's thinking about something. Yeah. The more you do this, the more it's just going to start coming natural, and then just delete it, and see what happens naturally. Then come back to the video and say like, oh shoot, I actually been doing this as I'm dancing, like this is cool. or you can implement something else.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you first learn to drive and everything's like, you're right on the 10-2 and you're like, oh, and put the blinkers at 300 feet. And then you're like, you're so mechanical and you're stiff and you don't know what you're doing and you're panicking and you're thinking and you're kind of like dangerous and crazy. Anybody else have that? No? Am I just crazy? And then you drive for a few years and then, you're like, changing the radio, you're kind of crazy because you've got like a bit of autopilot. You're so used to all the mechanics of it, it's not hard at all.
She drives crazy, guys.
I actually don't. I don't know why, but my sister really does.
She just told us that she drives crazy.
No, my sister like holding a drink in her legs, doing her makeup. She's crazy. But it's the point of whenever you first learn something, you're going to feel stiff, you're going to feel in your head, you're going to feel robotic, you're going to have to use like a mental checklist of things to help remind you, right? And then you do it enough times and the checklist is there, but now it's like in the back of your head and you forget you're even doing that. So you, again, use this wisely, don't restrict yourself.
We hope you guys enjoyed that secret. Use it, rewind it if you need to, and have fun. We'll see you in the next video. Sorry, why do I keep seeing video?
He just
I'll
wants
see
to
you
end.
in the next secret. I'm going to do that for all of them just for fun now. Here we go, guys. Diving into secret number 3. This one's a little bit of an easy secret, but it helps your bachata life because we have a very, very common problem or a question that gets asked or a frustration that's always coming out, especially from the leads, is how do I remember all of these moves? I keep forgetting my moves, especially when I'm dancing. I think I have a lot of moves, and then when I start dancing, I just freeze up, and all I do is a basic step. Yeah, super, super common. So if you're watching this video and you have that problem, you are not alone.
Yeah, and then
you are not alone.
And then while you're thinking and you're just doing a basic, the girl's just standing there kind of like awkwardly. Okay, we're in the same direction, we're not doing anything, we're just doing a basic, right? So this is the super, super simple secret, unlike the last two.
Here we go. So what you're going to do, especially if you're a leader, every time you guys are dancing, when you're thinking of a move of what to do, you want to do a cross-body lead. Yeah? So when I'm doing a basic step and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her a turn. So you got it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her a turn. Now, let me do a cross-body lead while I think about what I'm going to do next. Okay, I'm going to give her a loop. Yeah, so you finish the basic and give her a loop. Yeah, so you even have time to think as you're doing the loop, plus a cross-body. Okay, I'm going to give her a two-handed turn after this. Boom. I give her the two-hand turn. And then I'm like, okay, I got to unwind her here. I don't really need a cross-body lead. I got to get out of this thing. Boom. So now I'm going to do a cross-body lead on this side. What can I do next? I haven't done a hammer lock yet. Let me do a hammer lock right here and see how this feels. Yeah. So you're going to be doing this constantly. The thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to go basic. And then you give her a turn. And then right here while you're thinking about what to do, and then finally right here, you're like, okay, now I know what to do. And then like, okay, but I can't do it on this side. You're going to run into scenarios where you're just doing a basic. From the outside, from her perspective, it's going to feel super, super beginner. It's going to feel like,
bland.
What is he going to do to me? Like, I'm just here doing a basic.
And you kind of feel like you have to, like, you're like face, I don't know, there's something kind of awkward about it. Because at crossbody leads, you can kind of like look around and look, but this just really highlights that it's bland.
As a leader, you're not even conscious that this is happening because
you're here.
As you're doing a basic step, all of this stuff is going on in the head and it makes it feel like you're doing a bunch of stuff,
but it's
not. On the outside, everybody's just saying like, he's just going left and right, and the girl's like, is he still here? Yeah,
crickets.
And it's like they're just doing a basic step. So we have to keep them entertained at the same time. We got to keep them moving also so they can also have fun. So when you're doing it, just start implementing cross-body leads whenever you can. You can do a cross-body lead on your left side. You can also do it on your right side. You can change it up.
You can even do a switcheroo.
You can even do it back to back.
Yeah, just literally right back. If you really need time, you can cross-body lead, turn, like by. Whatever it is, come up with a really short little count of 8 or 2 counts of 8 that's like buffer room for you to figure out what you're doing next. Ladies, we just don't want to stay, this is like kind of separate but kind of the same. We want to see different parts of the room. Yeah? So if we're just like this, looking at the same angle, going back and forth, that's when the lady's kind of like, oh. But honestly, it's really simple. That change of direction from a cross-body lead is like enough. We're like getting a tour of the room, like this is not so bad. Turn, oh, now we're going back, that's cool. It isn't, we're kind of easily entertained as long as we're not facing the same wall.
So we hope you guys enjoyed that little secret. We're gonna move on to the next one. Again, practice if you need to, or rewind if you need to go over something that we just covered. Here we go, guys. Secret number 4, another simple one. We did like 2 challenging ones, and now we're gonna do 2 easy ones. So for this one, especially when you're starting off as a beginner, a lot of the dance can kind of appear flat. What I mean by flat, you're not giving your bodies, like you're not taking advantage of angles of where your body can be. So if we're dancing, what a common thing is, people would do this, like when they start off, they just stay facing squared off to the girl, and it feels and kind of like looks robotic. Okay, I'm gonna give her a turn, I'm gonna give her a loop, and we're just like straight on. It makes it look stiff from the outside. Yeah, this is a very simple tip or secret, is being able to open up your body this way and this way. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting used to that as you're dancing, implementing your moves and different things what you're doing.
And even a little bit with your head.
Yeah.
So some people, like, their head is stiff and they change directions and their head is stiff. So just being a little bit more.
Now, the easiest way to implement this with the whole body from toe to head is doing a crossover step. We cover this in the super essential like basics. Is crossing over. Let's both cross, or you cross behind and I'll cross in front. Is doing this. 1, cross over, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, step, cross over, step. Now, guys, I can go behind and she can go in front.
Oops.
We can go boom, boom, boom. I usually wouldn't do the same side that she does, or if I'm leading it, I wouldn't lead the same exact foot, so we don't go forward, and like we step on their toe.
Bump toes, yeah.
Yeah. So how would this come into play? So when I'm doing a regular turn, instead of doing this and being squared off to the girl, and I don't move my body, that cross helps. So look at this turn. When I do this turn, I step, I cross, I step, tap. Now when I do that cross, my body it kind of allows my body to open up, and then it comes back to the girl. I don't want to stay facing that way either. Yeah? So you want to get used to that motion. Boom, 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 ba. So look at the difference. We're here. What not to do is stay flat. What to do, we're here. Open up the body and then come back.
Yeah. And the same thing is true for the girls. We can do it with crossovers, but it's just getting used to angling your body a little bit more, like he said, so you don't look square, and relaxing your head. So
this would come into play, like, for example, for ladies, if you're doing a basic and the guy is doing a turn, when the guy is doing a turn, you can do something like a cross step or a cross behind or something. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. So she's able to angle her body. She makes it look a lot more spicier than me. Yeah, but it's something that's cool, so you're not just looking like basic while the guy is doing all of his turns.
Yeah, another way that you can do it, will you give me a cuddle position, turn me into cuddle position? Mm-hmm. Another way to angle it is most girls stop right here and they look really stiff, right? But it's to just angle and walk on an angle. So it's another kind of thing where you end up kind of doing a cross step when you walk instead of just walking forward. Just getting used to playing with angling your body sometimes so you don't look stiff.
Yeah, same thing for the guys. When we're here and we do like a loop, sometimes it looks like really rigid if we're here, like really stiff.
Look from, do it. I'm going to move a little. You wouldn't be like this, but just so you could see his body when he's doing it.
Yeah, so I don't want to do this. So as we do it, you want to open it up. Even if I do a loop, I can still do this crossover as I loop. I can go 1, 2, 3, and then come back to her and do something else. Open here, boom, boom, create like a lot of different angles, come back, and then you can square off and open. So you want to have like this open, close motion as you're dancing, but in the most basic sense when you're doing like regular turns, open up here, boom. Right here she can do the cross, boom. Yeah, just change it up. Start off with simple stuff, and then you can expand on that later, opening up the body.
Yeah, even sometimes when I tap, if it's a crossbody lead, you'll see me tap like this instead of like this, and it just helps give angles to the body. So will you give me a turn? Yeah, so when he gives me this two-handed turn that way, I will go, instead of just tapping like this, I'll actually turn a little bit. But it's the same thing, it's just angling so that we look less stiff and square and robotic.
Yeah. Hopefully that tip helps a lot, especially if you're starting off for the first time. I probably would start off with that one. Throw it in here and there. You don't actually have to do it every single time. If you want to just do it once, and then next time you dance, you do it twice and 3 times. Play with it. See what looks natural to you, even if you can. If you don't even have a partner to practice with at home, just look in the mirror. Like there's like a mirror on my left side, if in case you're wondering why I'm looking over there. And then do like invisible style. Go here, boom, be like, okay, that looks pretty cool. And then like if you're doing something weird and you go like, and you're doing something weird with the body, you're gonna be able to see like, whoa, I look awkward doing that. Let me go to the mirror and adjust and see what looks better, and then tweak it from there. Because you don't want to do something that just looks awkward.
Yeah, and when you cross, you never want to kind of have your shoulder out here. So you need to make sure your arm and your shoulder go together. Never do that. So whatever you're doing with your partner, always still respect your frame, right? Our frame, wherever that is, it's never back here. So if you start doing stuff awkward like that, you're not respecting your core frame. Yes, so we hope you enjoyed that secret. I think is 4. I've lost track.
Let's move on to the next one. What's up, guys? Let's move on to our next secret. The next secret's gonna help kind of decorate your moves a little bit. I like to use that word because a lot of turns can look very simple and kind of plain if you just do the turn and then finish. So what we're doing here in this secret is adding loops to turns whenever possible. So when you guys are dancing, again, this is gonna help a lot of, especially if you're a beginner, if you're running out of moves also. So I give the girl a turn. Yeah, it's cool, like we're doing something, and then it's also cool just to give the girl a loop. But you want to start being able to combine them both, yeah? So you do a turn, and what a loop does is decorate that turn, yeah? So think of it like if you're saying a sentence, but you stop mid-sentence, it feels a little bit weird. That's kind of like what happens when you're doing a turn. Not that it's wrong in dance, it just
Helps
a
add
loop
flair.
kind of adds a little bit more of a finish, and it looks a little bit more even sexy, more smooth, yeah, depending on what you're doing in the dance, yeah?
The more moves you can kind of compress into stuff, like turn, loop, it's kind of like in 1. So what would normally take you a full count of 8, you just did in 4. It just gets cooler and looks more intermediate. So whenever you can compress moves and combine them, it just looks better.
Yeah, and then there's levels to this. So like you can do this and decorate it with a loop. But later on, you're going to be able to do it, and it's going to help kind of add on to another move without stopping. Because I picture like a regular basic, kind of like a reset. If you avoid this reset as much as you can, things are going to look a little bit more flashy because everything's just going like move, move, move. Yeah. So when you're here, I can go into, actually let me do it with the turn so I can use the same example. I can give her a turn followed by a loop and turn her into something else followed by a loop into an outside turn. I can do this, boom, and then I can finish. I can come back, give myself a loop and come, yeah. So what that loop does, it helps you transition into different things. It helps things look a little bit more harder than they actually are. But all we're doing is just doing a simple turn followed by a loop. Simple turn followed by a loop. And it's looking a lot complicated the more we do things. It's just you're not seeing a basic in between each move. So this is also going to help the ladies because sometimes the question that gets asked is like, I don't know when a guy's giving me a loop. I don't know when he's doing a turn, or is he doing it inside or outside. And we always say when it comes to loops, ladies, allow the gentleman to lead a loop, but
allow the gentleman to lead in general.
Exactly. But why is this going to help in this scenario here? If you're conscious the whole time that the guy might give you a loop, it's like you don't want to be caught by surprise. Like, oh shit, he's giving me a loop, and you don't want to do like something weird here. Yeah. So just keep in mind, if a guy gives you a turn, be ready for a loop no matter what right here, because he can go inside, he can go outside. Yeah. So just keeping that in your head, just to make sure, like, okay, if he doesn't do a loop and starts with the loop, he won't do a loop after that. Like, just think it can come from turns, hammerlock, it can come from anywhere.
Yeah, the key here, ladies, is for you to be really aware of hand positioning. So you can read his body language and his hand signaling. So on a turn, typically if it's a single turn, he should have a flat hand. Or sometimes they'll hook even the thumb under your hand. This is kind of like a turn position, right? Where loops tend to come up. Will you just give me a loop? Thumbs to come up. The palm is up and he's pushing my hand like this. Would be the weirdest turn. Someone could turn like that, but chances are they're super, super beginner. And if you didn't read the signal right, it's just because he's like learning, right? So it's fine. So loops typically gonna come up, or they're gonna come, will you give me the different loops? Here. But his palm is still up. Like he's not gonna turn me like that. That's a weird turn.
We're gonna bring that style in 2021. I'm gonna start turning like this.
Yeah, or then again, the other one is like fingers up. Typically they also don't, okay, this is kind of difficult. Turn prep is like this, and then just because they prep does not mean it's a turn. All they're doing at this point is letting you know something is gonna happen. So just because your arm goes up doesn't mean you turn. You turn when you get the initiation this way across your face, and then you'll get a circle. So if you don't feel this and then a circle across your face, you don't turn. And in a loop, all it's doing is coming up, is going in across here, but you'll notice it's different. So keep that in mind. If you mess it up, just laugh it off and smile, and eventually you'll get the hang of seeing the difference between a loop and a turn. If it's a beginner leader, they might just mess it up because they're still figuring it out. So don't be too hard on yourself, laugh it off. It's all for fun anyways. Yeah, but those should kind of help differentiate the two.
We hope you guys enjoyed that secret. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go, guys. Moving on to secret number 6. If you've seen the Big Bang Theory, we have the big wall theory. I'm just kidding. So this secret's gonna help where we are using the walls
As reference
as
points.
reference. So when you guys are dancing, I'll speak for the leaders first. Anytime you guys are dancing in a room, in a building, you're always gonna be dancing in a building, hopefully. If you're dancing outside, probably don't use the ocean, the beach, whatever you want.
No, you can still pick anchor points. Like, let's say you're out in a courtyard of some sort and there's like a fountain. Okay, then your fountain's here, and you're gonna find reference points for almost as if there was 4 walls.
Let's dive in so you know exactly what we mean. So anytime you're in a building, there's gonna be 4 walls. There's gonna be 1 forward, behind you, to the left, and to the right. When you start dancing, you never wanna angle yourself to a corner of a room. Why is this? Because it's gonna play tricks on your brain. Yeah, so in the most simplest sense, if I'm facing one wall, this is to help you complete your turns, your moves, whatever you're doing perfectly.
So you don't start like mixing, mashing, ending up in weird places.
Yeah, so if I'm doing a 180, I'm gonna do a true 180 because I know I went from one wall to the other wall. Yeah, versus if you're here, if you're at an angle, and then you're like, oh, let me finish here. You just kind of like went past the 180, and it just feels weird, especially if the person is expecting like a 180 or a 360.
Or if your goal is a 360 and you start at one wall, your goal, you now know like, I need to get back to this wall. And you can have that as a focal point to get you around versus like, where am I? Where's like kind of what he's saying, but having a goal to get to.
Yeah. So when you're dancing, guys, let's think about this as level 1. We mentioned in this a little bit in one of the other videos. My first goal is when I'm dancing with a girl is I do not want to have her facing the same wall the whole time. If I'm facing her the same wall the whole time, to me, it appears like I'm going to bore her because she's facing the same way. And that means I'm going to have to do something crazy the whole time to keep her entertained because she's just only facing one direction.
Yeah.
So if I'm here, I don't want to keep her facing the same wall. I'm like, okay, let me give her a different perspective of the room so she thinks like keeping her entertained so she's not like just floating around. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I did enough on this side. Let me go back to this wall and then basic. And say, okay, let me change it up a little bit. Yeah, let me just bring her in, close position. Let's start doing stuff in this angle of the room. What this is doing is like she's getting different like visuals in the outside. Her brain is like registering like, okay, I'm not just in the same position, and it's gonna keep her engaged. Yeah, versus, okay, I'm just bored. I'm just facing the whole direction the whole time, like the same direction.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lead and follow thing. The follows want to be able to look at different stuff so it doesn't feel too intimate. Sometimes when it's just plain and we're just doing a basic back and forth, if you don't make eye contact, it feels like you're avoiding eye contact. But then if you make eye contact the full time, you feel awkward. So changing the rooms helps her have different places to look without it feeling too intimate, get too awkward, or feel like, ooh, crickets, right? So it helps the lady. But if you don't even think about it from a lady's perspective, you just think about your four walls, you wanting to see different walls, automatically that will happen for her as well. It's like a natural byproduct of doing it correctly.
So like we said in the other one out, it's gonna help you complete a turn. So say if I'm doing a 360 and I'm facing this wall, I know exactly where to finish that 360, yeah? The next part is ladies' turns. If the ladies want to spot, they're going to know exactly where the turn is going to stop and finish.
Right, so if I'm facing this wall, will you give me a double to the left? So my spot is going to go to the left. If he respects this, this directional change, or direction staying the same, then I know I can spot left, and finish here. But if he starts kind of rotating during the turn, it's not as easy for the lady to spot.
Yeah, like you don't want to do something like where you turn her and then she's going to expect you there and you just pop over here somewhere.
She doesn't know where you are and it's confusing, right? So it also helps the lady have a little bit of predictability. She doesn't even know that that's even a consideration in her mind, but it is. You kind of want to like have a reference point when you're doing turns. You want to kind of feel some sense of stability. Yeah.
So this thing is it's gonna feel mechanical at first. Like you don't want to, again, like the more you do this, you don't want to be like robotic. Okay, I gotta be squared off to this wall, and oh my God, I'm 0.36 degrees left. Like you don't want to go like super crazy with it. Just start getting used to just being in that vicinity. So if I'm here, like it's okay if you go off just a little bit. It's just something for reference. I'm like, okay, I know exactly where to complete her turn because we're facing this wall. If I want to unwind her, if I want to come back, let me finish here. So it's nice, sharp, it's like clean, and that's what this secret is going to do for you. It's going to give you a little bit more cleanliness to your dance.
Yeah, definitely. And again, with all the secrets that we're teaching, this is stuff we still do. So when we're teaching you guys in the tutorials and in all the courses, we respect this four walls. So we'll do this way, and then we go this, to here. It makes it easier for you to follow in a video. It makes it easier for you to learn. It makes it easier to remember. So we still do this in every single one of our classes. We respect this four wall thing. You also keep in mind that if you ever kind of want to you see a move that you love and you want to break it down, you can reverse engineer this, like, oh, he's facing the camera and then he does this move and now his back is facing here, so he did an 180-degree rotation, or whatever. Okay, his right shoulder is here and now his right shoulder is here, so he did a quarter rotation, right? So you can kind of, like a trickier version, you can use it to kind of reverse engineer things and see what's happening because you understand those angles instead of just feeling like, whoa. Yeah, so that's all. Got more?
Just a little bonus. If you're ever dancing in front of friends or family, or you have somebody watching you, you want to be like, every time you go to a party and it's like with people that don't dance and it's like your family are going to be like, hey, show us what you learned in class, show us what you did.
Oh, yeah.
It's always going to happen.
It still happens.
They're going to make you dance. So
dance for us.
anytime that happens, just as a cool visual, you'll see this in videos or when people are doing demos, you're always going to be dancing. So say if you're looking this way, you always want to get like a side profile. Yeah. Yes. So anytime you guys are dancing and you're doing things like this, always give them your side. So if I bring her back onto this side, like where we're doing this wall, so they can see the dance nice.
It's more intricate versus.
I'm never going to give like the back, like, because then they can't see her, they can't see you. Same thing in this direction. I wouldn't do that.
With one exception, if it's sensual stuff and there's maybe like some movements, like this, if you're at that level, then you could do it because you want to see the body movement. Then that's one thing. But if you're just doing partner work and turns and intricate stuff, you want them to see this is like a door open and this is like door closed. You're not invited to see. Yeah, so that is a good tip for if you want to show off. You want to show the inside, the inner workings.
Or if you're social dancing and you're scared and you don't want somebody to see what you're doing, then you give them your back. Then it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
We hope you guys enjoyed this secret. We're going to move on to the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Here we go, guys. Moving on to our next secret is using the 7 essential moves.
Yes, so in the last video, we taught you 7 essential moves. In the course, we taught you the 7 essential moves, but this is the secret on how to use them on the dance floor so you don't run out of moves, or let's say you're good, and then you're like a minute and a half in the song, and you feel like you've used up all your moves, and you've just no idea what to do next, and you're kind of blanking. So there's 7, and you can either memorize the 7 by their numbers or by their name, or both, doesn't matter. The first one is crossbody leads, the second one is turns, the third one is loops, fourth one is hammerlock turns, fifth one is two-handed turns, sixth one is cuddle position, seventh one is cross-handed turns. So that's like a long list.
For the first one, don't just say turns, think of it as single-handed turns.
Yeah, so right or left single-handed turns. So what you can do when you're dancing is this is like if you're in a pinch, right? Crossbody lead, and then any of the other 6 moves. So you could do a crossbody lead, and when you're done with it, you can get into cuddle position, and then get out of cuddle position, and then let's say you still don't remember anything, go back to a crossbody lead, which is the first move, number 1, and then pick from the 7 again. Obviously, you probably won't do a cuddle position again because you just did it. So, okay, what else can I do? Okay, I can do a loop. So do a loop. And then go back to number 1, do a crossbody lead, and then do a hammerlock turn. So this is kind of a beginner version of, I'm panicking. We kind of mentioned this before, using your crossbody lead to think, but this is not just thinking, it's using it systematically to break up other moves. So we change positions, right? The crossbody leads help us change positions on the dance floor, and then it also helps us do, different turns. Then if you want to get a little bit more complex, once that you can grasp that concept and you're ready for a more complex version, you could do crossbody lead, then a single-handed turn, right or left for the guy or the girl, then any of the other 5 moves. So you do crossbody lead, turn, or 1, 2, the first and second move, and then any of the other 5 moves. So you just pick from one. So you could go crossbody lead, turn, and then a loop.
Yeah, this is something that you're going to have to play with.
Yeah, it's
It's like if you have like 1 through 9 when you're doing, you can mix the numbers in so many different ways. There's so many variations. So play with whatever works. Use her technique or the first thing that she said. If not, use the second thing. If you really are struggling trying to remember the moves, but you still want to challenge yourself, like if you're at home practicing with somebody or even doing invisible partner style, if you don't have somebody to practice with, be like, okay, I'm going to focus on number 1 and number 2, just the crossbody lead and the turn. So I'm here, I'm going to implement number 1, which is a crossbody lead, and now I'm going to give her number 2, which is just a regular single-handed turn. Let me do another crossbody lead now on this side, and now let me give myself a turn on this side, and just really, really practice that. The next time you're like, okay, now to challenge myself, I'm not going to do 1 or 2. I'm just going to focus on number 3. What was number 3? 3 was the loops, yeah? So I'm like, okay, all I'm going to do, even though she might get bored, so hopefully you can practice at home. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to work on loops for now. Let's see, what are the options of loops? There's 8 different types of, I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't even know I can do this type of loop. And your mind's going to be like, okay, it's going to just open that door in your head, like, whoa, I didn't even know I can do this one, or this feels a little bit different, but I like it. I can try to change it up.
Two-handed loops.
Yeah, the next time be like, okay, I'm going to focus on number 5, number 4, and number 5. That's hammerlock turns and two-handed turns. So I'm like, okay, let's do a hammerlock turn. Let's see how it feels. Let me unwind her out of it. I'm like, okay, let me try a two-handed turn. And it's like, we're here. But then you can think and kind of change it up. And then later when you get more spicy, you be like, how can I unwind this instead of just doing it so simple? You can combine two-handed turns with a cross-body lead. So that's going to be another thing later where you can actually cross them. So you can do a cross-body lead with number 6 at the same time. Yeah? Or I'm here, I can go hammerlock turn and then bring it up into a two-handed turn, but then it just gets complex from there. There's different levels to it.
Yeah, that's a definitely more a higher level when you start making it more complex. But if you just keep it to its super simple foundation, it's those 7 core moves are a way to, if you can memorize those 7, just the names of those 7, and keep them right at like the tip of your tongue at any point, then when you're social dancing, if you can't remember anything, you just go back to reference those 7. Just keep referencing those 7. I like to go, or we prefer going cross-body lead and then one of the 7, because you want to make sure you're changing directions, and the cross-body lead guarantees you direction change.
Doing that is like implementing like all of the secrets combined, like
making sure she's interested, making sure you're using the 4 walls, changing your perspective. So the cross-body lead it's a great in-between. So you can go cross-body lead or number 1 and then pick another one. Cross-body lead, pick another one. Cross-body lead, pick another one. Like find a way to take these 7 and play around with different ways to do it. Maybe you go cross-body lead, turn, loop, and then pick something else. Cross-body lead, turn, loop, something else. And the turn could be any one of the turns. You could do double turn. You could do two-handed turn. Anything. Play with this concept. What we do, or what you can do, is on a paper, write out the 1 through 7. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the name. And we have it listed in the course. So, but again, I'll say it right now. 1 is cross-body lead. 2 is right or left single-handed turns. 3 is loops. 4 is hammer lock turns. 5 is two-handed turns. 6 is cuddle position. 7 is cross-handed turns. So write those 7 out and play with it with your partner that you have practice going 1 something else, 1 something else, 1 something else.
even if you don't have a partner, you can still practice the motions
Imaginary.
without a partner.
Yeah, then try 1, 2 something else, 1, 2 something else, and see if that helps you at all. If that doesn't help you, throw it out. Make sure you have a paper in the beginning. Then once you're used to the 7, try to not look at the paper.
Again, just like all of the other secrets, it's going to feel mechanical at first. Later, you're going to not even realize you're doing it anymore. Yeah, so things will always look mechanical when you start, but later you want to get your natural flow so it looks a little bit more like that you're not thinking the whole time.
Yeah, and this is like more of an intermediate tip, so if you're a beginner, you can just kind of like
hold off on this one for now.
Don't pretend that you're not listening. But if the next, let's say you're intermediate and you're still using this reference guide, you could go cuddle position. You could do cross-handed turn into cuddle position when you do a double. So you can even go like this into cuddle. So now we did a double turn, cross-handed, into cuddle. But your goal was, all you thought is cuddle, right? So then you're like, oh, let me try this one. And it can help spark you in different ways when you're intermediate. Beginner, that will go right over your head and overwhelm the heck out of you, so just don't listen to that tip if you're a beginner. Just try what I said, write it 1 through 7 on a piece of paper, use it as a reference guide in the beginning. 1, pick another move. Literally look at it. 1, cross-body lead. What am I doing next? And look, and then try to execute it. And remember, not all the turns, but a lot of the turns, if you go into it, you can get out. We talked about this before, right? I think we talked about it in the 7 essential moves, but if you're doing like a 2-hand turn, we do a 2-hand turn to the right. We came into it and we're stuck here. There's a way out of this and we can just turn. So remember, when we say 2-handed turn, you're gonna have to exit it as well. That's like the completion of the turn.
Just like a hammer lock.
Right, hammer lock turn, you're gonna have to exit it. There's more intermediate ways to exit the turn, but if you're just the beginner, just kind of come out more or less the way you went in. So hopefully that makes sense. If you want more clarification on any of the secrets or you want to talk about it anymore, feel free to send us a message right in the Facebook group. We'll try to answer as best as we can. So we hope you enjoyed the last secret.
Hopefully you watched the 7 essentials and the 7 secrets that we just covered right now. Again, this is just the surface of what there is on both essentials and secrets. We dive in a lot more in our course. If you guys are in our course, we hopefully will see you there. We talk about these essentials, the secrets, plus more just combinations,
So much
a lot more tips, a lot more golden nuggets, and a lot of different combinations.
Yes, so remember that these secrets, They're supposed to be tools to help you build your creativity, expand, your library of moves, and play with the possibilities. And again, get creative. Don't use these secrets as black and white to kind of box you in and limit what you can do. They're not hard and fast rules. Nothing is black and white. They're just guidelines.
And then when you're doing these, remember, when you combine all 7 at the same time, you're going to see a different dancer in you. You're going to see and if you feel like your dancing is just like this, you're going to feel the challenge that you're going to get from combining these moves. So try not to get overwhelmed and do all 7 at once.
Yeah, don't do all 7 at once.
The first secret and then try to do 1 and 2 at the same time, then implementing 1, 2, and 3.
Or just pick the one that's easiest conceptually for you to grasp. I think if you're a beginner, the cross-body lead thinking is probably going to be the easiest. Then the next one would probably be loops, decorating turns.
Yeah, just change the order, whatever fits to you.
Whatever you're like, that one, there's usually going to be 1 or 2 that really stand out to you and you totally get and you're ready to implement. Do that one until you feel really great about it, then move on. Like he's saying, don't do all 7 at once. It's too much to think about and your brain will feel like it's going to blow up. Yeah, so take your time and you'll definitely see an improvement once you've implemented all of them.
So again, we hope you guys enjoyed these videos. We will see you guys inside the course. If you're not enrolled in the course yet, we'll have a link below just in case you're interested in joining us for our beginner course or our mastery, where we have all of our courses in one plus a bunch of bonuses. So we hope to see you guys inside of the course. I'll put that link below so you guys can check it out. Nicole and Demetrio, Bachata Dance Academy. We will see you next time.